We're back with you here at the P&M Center. The Aggies back home after 37 days between home games. 8 straight on the road. The Redhawks of Seattle coming off a 9-game homestand. Aggies have won 4 straight, and Seattle U has won 5 of their previous 6. Head coach for the Aggies is Chris Jans. In his first year, best win percentage among first-year head coaches at a new school. And as Coach Bradford said, Chris Jans has this program rolling right now, 15-3, 3-0 in WAC play, and all 3 WAC wins have been in double figures against Chicago State, Bakersfield, and also Grand Canyon. And it's been a grad transfer, leading the Aggies in scoring this year. Zach Lofton averaging 20 per game, which is second best in the WAC. Jamario Jones is averaging a double-double. And then you have Jonathan Wilkins, A.J. Harris, and City Endier also starting. And off the bench, Chris Jans has some offensive punch. Eli Chua, who does not start, averages 9 points per game. And Chris Jans really likes him off the bench with that offensive punch. And on the Redhawks bench, also a first-year head coach at a new school. Jim Hayford is the head coach of the Redhawks after 6 years at Eastern Washington. And his Redhawks have already matched their win total from a season ago, 13-7. And they're back on the road for the first time in over a month, coming off a 9-game homestand. And Jim Hayford has really put his hat on grad transfers. 3 starters in the lineup for the Redhawks are grad transfers. Jordan Hill from Wisconsin, Rashad Giddens from Weber State, and Josh Herlihy is in from Vermont. Aaron Menzies is 7'3", and Matej Kabas averages a team-high 17 per game. It is loud here in the Pan American Center as the Aggies and the Redhawks get ready for their 15th all-time meeting. The Aggies 12-2 all-time against Seattle U, and the Aggies combined to win the 2 matchups last year by 48 points. Have to love the energy. Coach Bradford, your keys to the game.
Well, a big thing is they're going to have to contain, if you'll excuse the alliteration there, Adam, they're going to have to contain Kabas. He's a really explosive player, can get hot from the 3. They're going to have to get back on defense. Seattle really likes to run, and the Aggies are going to have to control the tempo. They're going to have to run when they want to and not when Seattle wants to. Seattle has scored 100 points a few times, and they're in the 90s quite a bit. And then finally, geez, isn't there a third key to the game, Adam? There often is, but I think the other thing is that, you know, sometimes the Aggies or a typical team can come home after a tough road stretch and then think it's going to be easy from here on in. And for the Aggies, you know, it won't be easy tonight. This is a very good Seattle team. I think it's a dangerous team that could beat the Aggies.
Yeah, you mentioned earlier, Coach, about maybe having a letdown when you come back home. This can go 2 different ways. You can feed off the crowd's energy, or maybe a scuffle when you return home, but there's certainly a lot of energy in this building. The fans are welcoming back this team with open arms.
That's right, and there's a great buzz around town. There's great excitement on campus. A lot of people talking about the Aggies and Chris Jans and how fun they are to watch.
NM State 41-1 in their previous 42 conference home games. This has been a big home court advantage for the Aggies. First-year head coach Chris Jans, first-year head coach for the Redhawks as well. Right there, Jim Hayford. Aggies in the home whites, Redhawks in the road red today. WAC matchup. And the Redhawks, with a win right here, would move into a tie with the Aggies. We'll see what Utah Valley does tonight. They're also undefeated in conference play. So if the Aggies take care of business and Utah Valley takes care of business at UTRGV tonight, then we would have a matchup Saturday of 2 undefeated teams. But first things first, it's the Aggies and the Redhawks here tonight. And Wilkins wins the tip against the 7'3" Aaron Menzies. Both offenses really good. Aggies averaging 74 per game, Redhawks averaging 80. Here's Lofton, who averages 20 per game himself. Deep 2 for Zach, it rims out. Picked up by Jordan Hill.
Boy, this Seattle team is plenty big, Adam. They're just, you know, they're maybe the biggest team the Aggies have faced all year.
And they shoot it as well as anybody in the conference. 39% from 3. And they make 10 threes per game. They have 10 to shoot. Here's Rashad Giddens, the Weber State transfer, to the Wisconsin transfer, Jordan Hill, with 2 on the clock. A step back 3 from the wing. Shallow, cleared away by Jonathan Wilkins. Wilkins likes to shoot the 3, and he parries it.
And he's never afraid to shoot the first one, I notice, Adam. He's happy to shoot the first one. Looks good doing it, too.
The 8th made 3 this year for the big senior out of France. 3-zip Aggies. Popping out is Cavas. An air ball from the corner. The 7-3 Menzies picks it up. There's a lot of scores on this Red Hawks team. 5 players averaging at least 11, including Hill, who has the ball in his hands right here. 2 to shoot for him again. Dump off for the 7-3 Menzies, altered by Jamario Jones.
Well, it's classic Jamario Jones challenging the 7'3" guy and getting the best of him.
He's given up almost a foot, Coach.
Unbelievable. I have to stop marveling at Jamario Jones. Watch him go up here against. Oh, there's John Wilkins.
City end here for the corner for the Aggies. Aggies shooting 46% from the field this year. They haven't been great from 3, though, just 32%. Jones on the pump fake and drive, batted away by Hill. Shot clock will not reset. It stays at 9. And the Aggies will inbound on the sideline. Chris Giens has his team off to a 15-3 start. And really no bad losses right now for the Aggies, who are receiving top 25 votes. On the pull-up, A.J. Harris.
Also over the 7'3" Menzies.
A.J. a transfer in from Ohio State, averaging 10 per game. This defense for the Aggies the last month or so has been smothering opponents. Lofton called for a reach in.
Well, you hate to see that this early, just 30 feet from the basket.
What is it about this program, Coach, in defense? Because you go back to Marvin Menzies, Paul Weir, they always had their team playing strong defense the entire year.
Well, I think that, you've talked about some pretty successful coaches in Marvin, Lou Henson, Marvin Menzies, Paul Weir, and Chris Jans. I think, the good coaches get them to play defense.
Harris in the...
What time is it?
Saturday
Prime time.
Yo, first game on a Saturday night. Let's see you walk away with the bragging rights.
Warriors, Rockets, Saturday at 8:30 on ABC, presented by YouTube TV.
A.J. Harris. Chris Giens unhappy. He tells the officials he wants some flow to this game. Our 3 officials, Brad Gaston, John Stigliano, and Jim Skipper tonight. Maybe a makeup call right there as we go the other way. So on Rashad Giddens, his first. Team's first as well. Quality start for the Aggies, 2 of their first 3 for the field.
Seattle in the zone here for the first time.
On the baseline, Wilkins. The Aggies staying patient, 3 minutes in. Harris awaits a ball screen from Jones. Lofton from 27. Bingo!
Well, I like that. I have to say, though, that Seattle zone is impressive. They're long and quick in that zone. I can see that causing the Aggies some problems. Let's see if they stick with the zone next time down.
Josh Hurley, 3.5 in, no points for Seattle so far. And they're using a lot of clock on offense. Cavas bobbles and then gets to it. Cavas attacks outside for Hurley. Too strong. Pulled in by Wilkins, a foul on Seattle U.
Well, John Wilkins got that in between 2 Seattle guys, beat them both to the ball.
So this one goes on Cavas, his first, team second. An 8-0 start for the Aggies here in the first 3 minutes plus. Jamario Jones averaging a double-double. Harris from the head of the key. Jones playing the high post. Touch pass for Lofton. Back to Harris in the air. That's no good. Jones snatches and puts it home.
Just a big-time rebound. That wasn't anywhere near him, but he went up so high, nothing could have escaped him there. Boy, and that really brought the crowd to their feet. The crowd just going wild for Jamario Jones.
The majority of the crowd still on their feet. On the attack, Giddens, he's fouled and it slips in and one. For Rashad Giddens, he was fouled by Zach Lofton, but what a start for New Mexico State. 15:32 left, half one. The Aggies haven't been home in 37 days. Welcome home, fellas. What a start, Fred. Welcome back to the Pan-Am Center. Adam Young alongside former New Mexico State assistant Russ Bradford. Great start for the Aggies, looking for their 5th straight win. Coming off an 8-game road stretch, and earlier this week we had a chance to catch up with Aggie head coach Chris Jantz. He talked about the road stretch.
You know, I think that's one of the reasons why we've had the success we've had is I think this team likes each other. They've got a good energy about them, you know, when we're in the buses and in the hotels. And even as I walk in every day to start our video session before we get on the floor is, you know, you can hear them as you open the door, and they're enjoying one another.
There's Chris Jantz right there, the first-year head coach. Longtime assistant, longtime head coach as well at the JUCO level. Also 1 year at Bowling Green. And right now his star player, Zach Lofton, has 2 personals, and that could be a big factor in this game. He's on the bench right now, Coach.
That's right. Aggies up 10-2, but with Zach Lofton on the bench at 24 a game in WAC play, that's not a good sign. Let's see how the Aggies do without Zach Lofton.
So the Aggies bring in Keon Jones to replace Zach. He's on the left wing. And Seattle stays in this zone. The 3 can be the zone buster. The Aggies with no rebound. Keon Jones pulls it in. Jones also a really good 3-point shooter who hasn't played much recently. Endier from the wing. Harris to Keon Jones. It seems like, Coach, the Aggies are staying really patient here against the zone.
They're having a little trouble getting it inside. They're you know, moving it around the perimeter, but had a little trouble getting it inside.
Chavez misfires. Another rebound for Wilkins. Endier for Jamario Jones, and he missed the finger roll. Jordan Hill for Giddens, so rise and fire. That's too strong. Jamario Jones with good hang time to corral the miss.
Just you see him rise right up over the 7'3" guy.
Sidestep in a 3, long for Endier, and there's the 7'3", Aaron Menzies.
Well, if I'm Chris Jantz, and I'm not a tenth of the coach Chris Jantz is, but they've got to get the ball inside somehow against the zone.
That's traveling our Josh Hurley-Heath. I know it's only 6 minutes in, but this is normally an offensive team that is in rhythm, fluid. They score a lot, they shoot it well. They seem out of sync here in the first 6 minutes, Coach.
Yes, I agree. Well, both. I think the Seattle, because of the Aggies' terrific defense, but this zone could be problematic for the Aggies as the game unfolds.
Jamario Jones to Keon Jones. Jamario gets his 5th rebound. Cutting Harris. Back out for Endier.
Well, better ball movement that time. They were able to get it to Jamario Jones in the high post. And I think that'll be the key, is the ball has to get to the high post or low post at some point against the zone.
Jordan Hill gets a ball screen from Chavez. Missed it wide left. 6th rebound, Jamario Jones, and he can run the floor. Endier again. Extra pass, Keon Jones. Batted out to Keon. Neither team can buy a bucket right now. Both teams are getting good looks. Flashing Jamario Jones, reversal Chua, 2 free throws upcoming.
Well, and that's the way the Aggies have moved the ball all year. That kind of unselfishness, and the ball went from the high post to low post there. Pretty good ball movement by the Aggies. Watch Jamario Jones find Chua there.
So Chua will try to break a 2.5-minute scoreless drought for the Aggies here. Chris Jans last night on the radio coaches show spoke a lot about Chua coming off the bench this year. Last year he was a starter, he was a star, and he has not complained once about his new role, which is coming off the bench. And Chris Jans said, I've always liked it when I can bring somebody off the bench who can really score. And Chua's averaging 9 per game, and he brings that offensive presence off the bench.
Yes, and I'll go out on a limb and say by the end of the year, Chua will be up in double figures. He got oftentimes big guys get off to a slow start in the fall, and Chua got off to a little bit of a slow start.
The Aggies with some pressure now defensively in the three-quarter court. Hill breaks it. Redhawks trying to break a scoreless drought of nearly 3 minutes. Morgan Means off the bench. He's averaging 8 per game. Means with it. There's not a whole lot of movement here for the Redhawks. Means picked up his dribble.
Look at that Aggie defense. Unbelievable.
5-second call on the defense by Keon Jones.
So this swarming defense by New Mexico State just has Seattle completely confused. Just watch the denial here. Just everywhere any Seattle player goes, there's an Aggie glued to him.
And this shows you don't have to shoot the ball well. The Aggies have missed 7 of their previous 8 shots, yet they lead by 10, 12-2, because of their defense so far. Sean Buchanan checks in. Buchanan here at the head of the key. Swings it for Keon Jones. Chua's running the baseline. On the bounce, here's Chua. Flashing Endier. Johnny McCants can't stick it in.
Johnny, a rare miss under the basket. Just couldn't quite get his balance on that one.
Under 12 left here in half one, and we will go the other way. It's an offensive foul on Cavas. Moving screen, his second personal, and will break. 12-2. New Mexico State ahead by 10, trying to go to 4-0 in league play. Seattle U coming off a 9-game homestand. New Mexico State coming off 8 straight away from Las Cruces. The Aggies went 7-1 during the stretch. They beat Illinois in Chicago. They beat Davidson in Hawaii.
Wait a minute, they beat Illinois in Chicago?
They did.
I know, it's an incredible. It's
amazing.
We need to say that one twice.
Beat Miami when Miami was number 6 in the country. And check out this final stat. So 24 teams had a 30-plus day stretch without a home game this year. The Aggies had 37 days between home games. The Aggies went 7-1. The other 23 teams that went 30-plus days between home games, they were 41 and 147. We have to give credit to Jordan Sperber, who we both think very highly of, the video coordinator who does so much more. He came up with that stat. That's remarkable.
It's remarkable that Jordan Sperber did that. And we've talked about what a tremendous job Chris Jans has done, and what a terrific staff he has as well. We'll talk more about them as the season goes on.
Lou Godino, Jordan Sperber, David Anwar, Jeff Myatt, Andy Schmidt on the staff of Chris Jans this year, the first-year Aggie head coach. Trying to extend their 10-point lead. That'll work. Sean Buchanan.
Well, one of the things I admire about Sean Buchanan and Keon Jones is they come out and contribute first. They think shoot second, defense and pass the ball first. And they've made great contributions all year, both Sean Buchanan and Keon Jones.
Hurley, one of many left-handers on this Redhawks roster. Hill on the baseline. That's a tough shot.
Very tough shot. And that's the Aggie defense. He's shooting from behind the basket.
Buchanan finds Chua. Down low for Johnny McCants. Right back to Chua. Cutting is Endier. Spins home.
Wow, we've talked about it all year about what great passers the Aggie big guys are. And just a really acrobatic shot by City Endier. Smart cut. Taking advantage of the seam in the defense there.
Offensive foul Red Hawks scoreless in a 5-minute stretch here.
Now we've talked about the Aggies. Watch this beautiful pass again. Oh, sorry, Sean Buchanan from 3. We've talked about the Aggies beating Illinois and Miami, beating Miami as a top 10 team. But how about this, Adam? Holding Seattle to 2 points in 10 minutes. And if it keeps up this way, Seattle will finish with 8 points.
Second best offense in the conference, too, averaging 80 per game, just behind Utah Valley. 7-0 run for the Aggies here over the previous 2:30. Do you feel like this zone is working at all right now for the Red Hawks?
Well, the Aggies have 17 points in 10 minutes. It's a respectable defense by Seattle. It's just that their offense hasn't kept up.
Another rebound for the 7'3" Aaron Menzies, who is out of Manchester, England. Big body down low for the Red Hawks. Seattle U 13-7, some nice wins this year. Pull-up jumper is good for Morgan Means, the sophomore from Compton, California.
Well, maybe that'll break the ice for Seattle.
Red Hawks just 2 of 10 shooting. Look at that ball movement there for the Aggies. They fight A.J. Harris. He launches a little too long. Hurley, he gets the miss, and a foul in the back on Keon Jones.
An unusual mistake for Keon Jones. Just a good hustle, but to foul a guy 90 feet from the basket wasn't, I'm sure that's not what Chris Jans wants.
What's your main principles, Coach, when you're going against a zone?
Well, ball movement first and foremost, but the ball has to go inside at some point. You can't just pass it around the perimeter, which is what I excelled at as a player. I passed it around the perimeter and couldn't do anything else. But yeah, the ball's going to have to go inside like it did there.
Johnny McCants is hammered. He'll shoot a pair, and now Chris Jans brings in Gabe Hadley, who has not played much this year, but he's known as a shooter.
And he was on fire in Chicago. Made 3 3-pointers in Chicago against Chicago State. And this would be a good test for Gabe Hadley. It's a big zone he's playing against. But you asked about the zone offense there, and that was a good example of it. The ball went inside to one Aggie, and he found the other Aggie. But the ball's going to have to go inside at some point, either low post or high post, and then move from side to side.
We talked off the air earlier about maybe Gabe Hadley having the role that Chance Ellis had last year when he started to play more. It was right around this time, and then he had a big role in the WAC tournament. And who knows how this year is going to end up, but Gabe Hadley could end up playing more and more minutes in the final 3 months.
There's always a place for a shooter, and Gabe Hadley can really shoot the ball, the Australian.
A shocking start, 18-4 to Aggies in the first 11 minutes as Jamario Jones comes back in for Chris Jans' team. And right now, Sean Buchanan and A.J. Harris, that tandem has really hounded Jordan Hill, who has the ball right now. Transfer in from Wisconsin, played for both Bo Ryan and Greg Gard for the Badgers.
Wow, great defense. Swarming defense by Sean Buchanan.
Chavez can shoot it. Timeout called by Seattle U. Chavez, a 48% three-point shooter, the most made threes now in the WAC with 59 this year. This is what we expected. We expected to see Seattle U shoot it pretty well, and they haven't shot it well, and a lot of credit goes to the Aggie defense so far.
But now, let's watch this three-pointer again by the Slovenian. But this is, oh sorry, that's Sean Buchanan again with a three-pointer. But as poorly as Seattle has shot the ball, they're only down 11, and so it hasn't been the disaster it could have been for the Seattle Red Hawks. And did you see? I watched the timeout there, just how calm Jim Hayford was, and how he's got the players 2 feet from his face, just completely calm.
Both of these head coaches are at their first year at their respective schools, but really experienced. Jim Hayford's been head coach for a while, same with Chris Jans. Hayford came over from Eastern Washington. Hadley Cans the three. There you go.
Well, there it is. And in case you missed it, he signaled 3 for us here on the side. Just a nice, very call. There's not many players who can do that. Do the head fake and then still make the 3 afterwards. Larry Bird could do it, but it's a tough shot. It's a tougher shot than it looks like.
Melbourne, Australia native. 2 in a row now for Cavas. The answer is Hadley.
Well, I think we've got a game here. After what looked like it might be a blowout, but I don't think Seattle's going to roll over and die.
Skip goes to Hadley. Hurley, he closes out quickly on Gabe. Harris has 4. Harris, a stutter, uses his offhand air ball picked up by Hurley.
Yeah, that wasn't one of AJ Harris's. Rarely takes a bad shot, but that one he had to hurry up with the shot clock winding down.
Hurley to the rim, blocked away. Johnny McCants, and then tipped on the wing. And Jordan Hill will reset for the Redhawks. They have 6 to shoot. Hill has to hurry. Does he know? Now he'll attack with 2 to shoot. Shoots it over AJ Harris, and he rings in the 3. The Wisconsin transfer, Jordan Hill.
Well, tough shot by Jordan Hill there.
There goes Jamario Jones again. Teasing out the defense.
He is so smart. It's unbelievable how smart Jamario Jones is. That was just such a crafty player around the basket. He had me fooled there. I didn't know what he was doing.
Jones averaging a double-double this year, 10 points, 11 rebounds per game. Hill again, 5 in a row for him.
Well, Hill gives it right back, the same kind of move, a little hesitation and going back, fake the spin move.
Some big minutes now for Gabe Hadley, who triggers again. That one swirls out. Red Hawks go with Hill, Hurley, Giddens, Cavas, and also Morgan Means. Aggies with Jamario Jones, Hadley, Harris, Buchanan, and McCants. Means to Giddens. Giddens travel. A lot of turnovers here today for the Red Hawks. That is their 6th. The Aggies have only committed 1. Under 8 media, 5:56 left. Red Hawks starting to come back. They're within 8 late in half 1. Adam Young along with Coach Brad Bird. Aggies back home for the first time in well over a month, trying to win their 5th in a row and go to 16-3. The lead was once 15. It has dwindled to 8, and a big reason why is probably the foul trouble right now for Zach Lofton. The Aggies' top scorer is on the bench with 2, so guys like Gabe Hadley have had to step up off the bench.
That's right. It's turned into quite the chess match with Zach Lofton with 2 fouls between Coach Jim Hayford and Chris Jans, and quite a defensive battle as well.
Harris, a good bounce feed. Jamario Jones to Johnny McCants, and the tip won't go for Johnny. Hadley on the move. The Australian with the floater. Jamario out of nowhere.
Boy, I like Gabe Hadley. Gabe Hadley he doesn't look nervous for not having played so much this year. I think he's playing with a lot of confidence, but Jamario Jones with another great effort.
Red Hawks have made 4 of their previous 5 shots. Jordan Hill has started to get going. Hurley working on Hadley, and they traveled again. And Jim Hayford is demonstrating over at his bench, trying to get his guys to jump stop.
Well, they spent their whole entire warm-ups working on the jump stop. Here's Gabe Hadley with the running one-hander, and surprise, Jamario Jones.
9 players have scored for the Aggies tonight, led by Jamario with 6 points and 7 rebounds. Wilkins replaces Johnny McCants. City Endier. It's the ball screen from Wilkins, who rolls. Hadley from the corner. Over the back on Jonathan Wilkins, over the back of Cavas.
When Jamario Jones went right over to Hadley and told him to shoot it again, which is when you're a shooter, that's exactly what you want to hear.
Hadley was the only holdover that was recruited by Paul Ware and his staff previously. He's the only one who stayed. Everybody else that was recruited, that is in their first year with the Aggies, was recruited by Chris Jans and Lou Godino and their staff. Keon Jones saves it, but right to Morgan Means. Nearly intercepted. Water bottles go flying everywhere on the other end. They're going to need to clean that up. It's tipped out by Jones. Means picks it up. Giddens and one.
Well, Chris Jans pretty upset. The Aggies, for the first time, got out hustled. Aggies got beat to the ball for the first time all night. They got out hustled.
Rashad Giddens out of Tempe, Arizona, Weber State transfer. Shoots it at a 79% clip from the free throw line. The Red Hawks as a team 78%, which is 6th in the country. Zone again for the Red Hawks here. Jamario Jones was posting up the 7-3 Menzies. Here's Jamario posting up Menzies. Now on the switch, Chavez guards him. Jamario going right after Menzies. Wing to wing for Harris. Baseline Jones. Weak side board for Chavez.
Yeah, it's a pretty stingy zone. That Seattle zone. These are two very well coached teams, Adam.
Jordan Hill on the dribble drive. He was stripped, and it's off Hill's leg. So it goes to the Aggies. Under 4 media with the Aggies up 8. NM State got off to a good start. Jordan Hill and the Red Hawks trying to battle back here in Las Cruces. A big whack matchup. Aggies 3-0, Red Hawks 2-1. We're back after this. Here's a look inside the Aggie bench. NM State ahead 25-17. Under 4 left here in the first half. Aggies trying to continue their dominance at home tonight. NM State 6-1 in their home building this year, 16-1 a season ago. And the Aggies are now 41-1 in their previous 42 conference home games. The only loss, Coach, was last year when the Aggies lost to Utah Valley. Utah Valley will come in town this Saturday, so that could be a very big rematch, especially if the Aggies hang on tonight.
That's right. Now, we don't want to say this in the Aggie timeout. They've got a very tough Seattle team in front of them here, but I can't imagine if both teams are undefeated that the Aggies would take Utah Valley lightly after Utah Valley came in here and won a year ago.
First home game in well over a month for the Aggies, and the Red Hawks have not been on the road since December 9th. Alley-oop for Jamario Jones.
Just perfectly executed right out of the timeout. Usually you're joking when you say that's how the coach must have drawn it up, but that time I really mean it. That's how Chris Jans probably drew it up exactly.
He can really, really coach, can't he?
That's absolutely right.
Aggie lead back in double figures. It's at 10. It's been as high as 15. Long rebound tracked down by Giddens. Reset here for Morgan Means. Chavez on his way to the lane. Teardrop too strong. And Aggies have played pretty much this entire first half without their top scorer, Zach Lofton. Eli Chua back to the free throw line for 2 more.
Nice pass by Jamario Jones. He just sort of the no-look pass.
Two jams here tonight for Jamario, and this one was a play by design.
Usually he designs them by himself, I guess.
He does.
Yeah.
Usually it's improv, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's a better play. Why did I think of that? You should be an English major.
Oh, no. Chua's first is good. I think think I would have done well in your class, though, Coach. Maybe
I'd say if you were there every day and you worked
Yeah.
hard, you'd have a chance.
Yeah, I'll take B's. That's okay with me. Chua connects on both.
Aggies back in the press. Seattle coming in with their Italian big guy for the first time tonight.
That's Scott Ulanio out of Rome, Italy. He's on the right baseline wearing jersey number 11 right now. Now he's in the left corner. Here's a touch for Ulanio. High-low feed for Menzies. And we just haven't seen Menzies involved at all so far today. Menzies thought it was offensive, but it was defensive on Chua.
And nice feed by Ulanio, the player from Rome, the Roman player. Comes in the game, makes a good feed right from the start.
Menzies 7'3", 285 pounds. And he shoots 67% from the free throw line.
I was
Not
going to say,
bad.
pretty good looking free throw there.
Menzies averages 11 and 8. He is second in the WAC in block shots with 34. A very similar body type to former Aggie Tanvir Bular, who was also 7'3", 290-ish. The Aggies really utilizing the baseline against this zone, also the high post. Buchanan mid-post for Jones. Jamirio's just going to circle around here and hand it off to Endier. City driving to kick Buchanan.
Well, good ball movement by the Aggies that time. Wasn't the best shot they could get, but they've done a decent job of solving this zone as the game is worn on.
Offensive, a shove off on Jordan Hill, it appears. No, they call it on City Endier, but they motion like a shove off, and City was the one who went flying. What did you see there, Coach?
I don't know, he tripped a little bit on the screen. Hard to tell there. We'll give the referees the benefit of the doubt for once. Well, the referees have been just fine tonight. I hardly noticed them.
Jordan Hill, 7th in the WAC in free throw shooting, 82%. Spent 4 years at Wisconsin, went to 2 Final Fours with them. He's a grad transfer, one of 3 grad transfers for the Red Hawks. That's tied for the most in the country with Iowa State. 3 grad transfers, and they all start. I guess that's the new way, Coach, to really have success in year one as a new head coach like Hayford is. A 3 is buried by City Endier. You didn't have that grad transfer rule around when you were coaching.
No, and I like it in that I think it encourages guys to graduate, and so clearly it's an interesting rule, and I think it's been a positive.
Seattle hasn't made a field goal in over 3 minutes, and it's an offensive foul on the baseline on Scott Ulanio. Big difference in turnovers, 9 now on the Red Hawks, only 1 on the Aggies. Hadley back in. Gabe Hadley has played 5 minutes in the first half because of foul trouble for Zach Lofton, who's only played 6 minutes with 2 personals. Final minute here in the first half. Buchanan on the wing for Endier. Touch pass to Buchanan. Slings it out for Hadley. Yes, sir.
Wow, beautiful. She's just got a perfect shot, doesn't he, Adam?
Those Aussies can shoot.
Well,
the Melbourne native, 8 made threes.
He's had great patience. He wasn't playing much early in the season, and now here he is in one of the biggest games of the year for the Aggies, and he's coming through.
Menzies can't stick it in. For Hadley, 4 of his 8 made threes came in one game against Chicago State, and now he has 2 tonight.
It's just, that's how, if you had a son, that's how you'd want him to learn how to shoot it. It's a beautiful shot.
I'll be honest, Coach, I have never seen a collegiate player from Australia who could not shoot it. A post player or a guard.
You think that's the rule there?
I don't know, maybe.
It's interesting. One of the things, the theories on Chicago kids for a while was that because they play outside all the time and it's windy, they don't shoot outside, shoot from the perimeter. Maybe in Australia it's only gymnasiums. Maybe they're not playing outdoors there.
Chris Jans calls a timeout. I can recall back in the day, this is about 5 years ago, but St. Louis University, when Rick Majerus was still coaching, had a couple of sharpshooters, Christian Salisic and Cody Ellis, both Australians, and perfect strokes, just like Gabe Hadley. When you watched it every time, you thought it was going to go in.
Well, the first one was Andrew Gaze that played at Seton Hall. He was the one that sort of broke the first breakthrough player for Australia. But boy, it's been quite a game of ups and downs for the Seattle team. Jim Hayford trying to keep them together. He's a little frustrated with the officials, but it's been stingy Aggie defense if they're going to hold Seattle to 21 points and a half here.
How about that? Some TV time for Gemma Mocha, the young daughter of the director of athletics, Marty Omocha, here at New Mexico State. The Aggies have built a 14-point lead. There's Gemma again. She's having a blast.
Can't we get her some cotton candy or popcorn or something?
I don't know. I don't know what the rule is in the Mocha household. I'm not sure.
We'll ask. We don't want to just show up with the cotton candy.
About a 4-second difference here. Game clock, shot clock. Aggies have only shot 39%, 6 of 17 from 3 as well here in the first half, yet they lead by 14. Chua on the catch. 2 on the shot clock. Long 3, A.J. Harris spins off. It is tipped to Hill, and it's a foul on the Aggies on the rebound with just 3.1 left.
Well, it's good hustle by Chua. You hate to see that. They'll get a free throw here now with where they would have had to go 90 feet to score if he hadn't fouled. And as you pointed out, this is one big guy who can make his free throws. All right, Kirsten. What do you think of that?
It looks good, though. Coming off his hands. Aggies should have a shot on a make or a miss. Aaron Nettles will come in for the first time today for the Red Hawks for defensive purposes here. Nettles from Seattle. He's only a freshman. Look at this speed for A.J. Harris on the catch. Hill bumps him, and A.J. Harris will shoot 1 and 1. And that is not what Jordan Hill wanted to do.
No, that's even worse than Eli Chua hustling on the rebound. Eli Chua had a reason for doing that. There would be no reason to be bumping a guy that far from the basket.
So we get 2 fouls in the final 3 seconds. One of the Red Hawks and one of the Aggies as well. And AJ just 11 of 20 now this year on free throws. Ohio State transfer. Highly touted recruit out of Dayton, Ohio, who has transferred to the Aggies and is in his first year on the floor after sitting out last year due to transfer rules. Nettles from beyond half court. And the Aggies match their biggest lead here at halftime, 37-22. And they only got 6 minutes from star scorer Zach Lofton. He averages 20 per game. He has 2 fouls. Didn't matter. Jones leads the way for the Aggies. Halftime is next. Chris Jans, the head coach of Aggie men's basketball, doing a great job with his program. They're trying to go to 16-3, and these stats are eye-popping as far as assists and turnovers. Huge difference between the Aggies and the Red Hawks, Coach.
Well, I think that's the biggest difference in the game at this point. You know, Seattle is really well coached, really a smart team, but they've wilted a little bit under the Aggies' defensive pressure, where the Aggies have been able to really share the ball and take advantage of things here.
Jamario Jones has not been scoring much recently, only 10 points combined in the previous 2. but he's back to scoring in a variety of ways here tonight. He leads the Aggies almost another double-double. When he gets there, it's going to be his 11th.
Well, we talk about the smartest guy in the room. He's the smartest guy on the court. He's got great instincts. He really works at it. He anticipates well, and he's done a great job again tonight.
And defensively, the Aggies have held Cavas in check. Jordan Hill only has 6. He's only been able to get 6 shots up. And Hurley has been a non-factor. He hasn't scored yet for the Red Hawks.
Well, that's right. It was one of our keys to the game. And you pointed it out early that Cavas is a very dangerous player, but they have been able to contain Cavas.
Are you surprised how this game has gone so far?
I am, but you know, with Chris Janza, he turns it into a chess game, and he seems to take control, take the initiative, and he's going to dictate the tempo, dictate what. We're going to play the way the Aggies want to play. And so, yeah, there's been surprises, but I think it's because he's always got things up his sleeve. He might be as smart as Jamario Jones.
He may be. Aggies have won all 3 of their previous conference games in double figures, so trying to do that again today. And the Red Hawks have been in some close games in conference play against Chicago State and UMKC. Those were their 2 opponents last week. They combined to win by only 5 points in their 2 games last week. And I don't think the Aggies are going to blow through the league and blow everybody out, Coach, but the way they're playing right now, it's going to be tough to challenge New Mexico State. They've already run through Grand Canyon and Bakersfield on the road, leading Seattle by 15 right now. The Red Hawks much improved, and this is another big week for the Aggies. And you look at the first 5 conference games. You play 3 on the road, and then you have 2 really strong opponents here at home. So this is not an easy start as you look at the schedule for the Aggies.
Well, that may be what's most impressive about Chris Janz's New Mexico State Aggies this year is how they've been able to keep their focus for a long stretch. He's got a veteran team too, but they have been able to keep their focus, not let up. San Diego was a small aberration. That's a team the Aggies probably could have beat, but a good team. And I think that's what's most impressive. And as we see Jim Hayford, pretty frustrated, 22 points. You're not going to beat many people with 22 points. But this is a gritty team. I expect it to be a very good second half.
Once again, the Red Hawks are averaging 80 per game, which is second best in the WAC behind Utah Valley. They came in shooting 46% from the field, 39% from 3, and 78% on free throws, and that has not held true here tonight. I've heard from a lot of fans, Coach. There's been at least 4 or 5 fans that have said this to me. They are amazed at how quickly Chris Giants has had this team meshing.
That's right.
It seems like from day one this team meshed. They love each other. They love playing for him. And as a new head coach, that's sometimes tough to do.
That's right. And I think the same was true under Paul Weir, but those kids knew Paul Weir he'd been here for 9 years. So that is impressive. By the way, I want to say that the Seattle team has a Martin Luther King quote on the back of their warm-ups. Interesting. I don't know if it's for Martin Luther King Day, which just passed, or it's what they've been wearing all year. But hats off to Jim Hayford for having it be about more than just basketball. It's not just basketball and the English department. There's other things in the world.
Of course. Yeah. Floater misses for Cavas, gets his own miss, and then puts it in off the window.
But Cavas hadn't had the breakthrough game we thought he'd have, but he's tough.
Only 8 today for Cavas, who averages 17. Wilkins shoots it over Menzies. That's tough to shoot over a guy who's 7'3" and his arms are stretched out.
It's tough to see over.
Jordan Hill, the Wisconsin transfer. At the head of the key, they run Cavas off a screen. So Jim Hayford clearly trying to get Cavas going here. Misfires on his 3. City Endier with it on the wing for A.J. Harris. Jamario Jones approaching another double-double. And he's averaging a double-double for the year. Ball screen Wilkins. Harris on the move. Pull up for the foul line. No good. And it's jammed in by Jonathan Wilkins.
Well, that's the second time A.J. Harris has just gone fearlessly over Menzies, who's well over a foot taller than he is.
Some highlight reel dunks for Jamario Jones and Jonathan Wilkins this evening. Lofton guarding Cavas. Lofton has 2. He's only played 8 minutes in the game. Tried to shoot for Cavas. Down low for Menzies with the left hand. Pretty finish.
Well, he looked good there.
Quiet day for Menzies. He only has 6. He does have 9 rebounds, though. Wilkins triggers a 3. Way short. A.J. Harris all over Jordan Hill. Pick and pop for Cavas. Down the lane. Looks for Menzies. Herlihy with 7. Herlihy gets Enbier in the air. Doesn't use the body. And that's the first deuce for Herlihy tonight. Pretty
Pretty good patience by Herlihy. They just kept shot, hoping for the foul. Didn't get it, but still knocked it in.
A.J. Harris waits for Chris Jans to say go here for the play call. Backdoor to Lofton. He lost it. Picked up by Jamario Jones. And a blocking foul is called on Rashad Giddens.
Well, Giddens having a tough night. The Weber State transfer just can't get on track.
First foul on Seattle U here in the half. Adam Young and Coach Bradford with you. So glad he could join us. A big hello to the Mocha family tuning in Arizona. Mario's parents. Glad you could join us wherever you are tuned in from. Jamario Jones has joined us tonight for a big show.
Well, that was an old style, just sort of the running hook shot, and hit with his left hand. That was right out of the 1950s.
You would have loved coaching him, wouldn't you?
I love announcing. I mean, he's well worth the price of admission right there. Not to mention the other great Aggies.
Herlihy, an air ball. Lofton clears it. Eyes up for Lofton as he crosses the midcourt line. Lofton for 3. Wilkins gets the miss. Wilkins keeps his balance, and Lofton will shoot 2.
Well, Lofton took a hard hit there, I think. Almost made it anyway.
That was not easy to do for Jonathan Wilkins to keep his balance here.
Just one of the things that continues to impress me is how well the Aggie big men pass. As Jim Hayford Jim Hayford has won everywhere he's been. He had great teams at Eastern Washington and at Whitworth. He had a Division III power before he got into Division I, but he just can't quite seem to solve the Aggies' defense tonight.
Lofton misses. He was 18 of 18 on free throws in the 2 games last week. Had a big week, scored 29 last Thursday, 28 on Saturday, was the WAC Player of the Week again for the 4th time this year. Splits the pair, Aggies ahead by 14. Giddens a lob for Menzies, and it pops out for him. Hand off to Harris. Good patience, lob for Wilkins, batted away by the 7'3" Menzies. It will stay with the Aggies. And the Aggies will have it on the baseline out of this media timeout with 15:54 left here in half number 2. Aggies trying to pull away from the Red Hawks and move to 16-3. A quality defensive night for the Aggies. They lead Seattle U by 14, under 16 left. Here in half number 2, Adam Young alongside former New Mexico State assistant Russ Bradford. Some old school defense for Chris Jantz's team here tonight.
That's right, and old school, sharing the ball, moving without the ball, passing. It's old school. It's like Lou Henson night in many ways, but yeah, really impressive game so far for the Aggies.
Aggies trying to go to 16-3, a big WAC game here. The Red Hawks 2-1 in league play. The Aggies are 3-0, and New Mexico State trying to stay undefeated in conference play and continue to do what they've done here the last couple of weeks.
That's right, and if they win tonight, there'll be the big showdown Saturday against Utah Valley.
Mark Pope has his team playing well. City Endier is pushed in the back on the inbound. This one is going to be on the ground, I think. And they're going to say it was on the ground, so no shots for City, who never really possessed the ball there. Harris finds City in the corner. The Aggies trying to build on their 14-point lead. Jones operates the baseline to Wilkins, now to Endier. Yes.
Did Jamario Jones pass it between his legs there?
I think so.
We've got to see that again if he did.
He's getting crafty, Coach.
No, we don't want to get too crafty. We'll drive the coach crazy. But yeah, he's such a creative player.
Kicked away by A.J. Harris. I think he did. He did something with it. It didn't look normal, that's for sure. And we're not going to see it in that replay. It was before Wilkins passed it to Endier.
Maybe it's better that way. The legend will grow about the time he passed it between his legs.
See, Coach, I tried doing that in high school, and I just turned it over, and then I
You'd
was on the bench.
wind up on the bench, yeah. I was going to say, well, you'll wind up on the bench on that one.
Giddens, the pitch out for Herlihy. Good stroke for a left-hander, 6'8" guard. And a quick timeout is called by Jim Hayford, the first-year head coach of the Seattle U Redhawks. This one will be a media as well. Redhawks trying to hang in there. Herlihy in the Redhawks bunch, trailing by 14. New Mexico State 45, Seattle U 31. Redhawks 13-7, Aggies 15-3, and numbers coming in really haven't held true here in the game tonight. Look at those numbers for Seattle U. 80 points per game, 46% from the field, 39% from three. And the biggest key for Chris Jans going into this game was defend the three-point line. And the Aggies have done a pretty good job of that. 3 of 10 from three for Seattle U.
That's right. And this is a Seattle team that often scores in the 90s. They're averaging 80 points a game, but they've got 30 with 15 minutes left in the game tonight.
And the Aggies will see a really, really good shooting team on Saturday as well. Utah Valley, numbers-wise, the best offensive team in the conference. A lot back for them this year from last year. Sean Buchanan handles the ball now to Lofton at the top of the key. Only 3 today for Zach, but he's played under 10 minutes. Buchanan to Chua, he'll rise up. Nearly an air ball, barely graces the rim. Herlihy falls out of bounds, and it goes to the Redhawks.
Wow. Well, maybe a little farther than Eli Chua is comfortable shooting it. It's hard to tell there, but
I guess City touched it. So Redhawks possession. Jordan Hill on the dribble drive lays it in. Only played 10 minutes last year at Wisconsin, 20 minutes per game 2 years ago. Low post Chua, and he could not handle it, but Menzies did touch it, so the Aggies will keep it underneath. Redhawks with 3 grad transfers, the most in Division I, tied with Iowa State's. And they also have 4 transfers sitting out this year that will be eligible next year. Guys that were not grad transfers who came over from a D1 as well. And the Aggies have 2 Division I transfers, one from Utah, one from Denver. 2 guys sitting out this year. And here's the grad transfer for the Aggies, Zach Lofton. Uses the Wilkins ball screen. Can't connect though from 3. Redhawks trying to make this interesting. Matej Kavis skips it for Giddens. Menzies bats it out to Lofton, and the Aggies push. Endier for Wilkins. You like that shot, Coach?
I do, but he's short. He's been short. He's been short the last 2 3-pointers, which makes me think that he's a little bit tired. Might be time for a Johnny McCants. Might be time for Johnny McCants for a minute or 2.
Hill tells Herlihy to cut through. Backdoor to Giddens on the catch. Batted out by Menzies, right to the Aggies again. No numbers at 2 on a 3. The bounce to Lofton. Back out Endier in the air. No good. Lofton gets the miss. Lofton to the rim. And he's fouled by Seattle U.
Well, just Aggies, time after time on the offensive board. They had 8 offensive boards at halftime. Watch them stay after it here. That had to be a foul. I don't know what else you would call that.
Number 2 on Aaron Menzies in the game tonight. And Jim Hayford's team has committed 4 in the half. More free throws for Lofton, who nails the first one.
But Adam, it's 13 points with 13 minutes to go. The game is not at all out of reach for Seattle, and let's not look ahead to Utah Valley yet.
Coach, now that you've watched Lofton for a couple of months as an Aggie, who would you compare him to that played for New Mexico State? Is he a bigger version of, say, Jonathan Gibson or Jamar Young, or what past Aggie do you remind?
Well, I've said that now. I don't know if he's an NBA player, but he has an NBA-style game for sure. He's a big guard and he's strong and quick. I think he's going to have to improve his defense if he wants to play in the NBA, and also get where he can play the point and share, and be a good assist man as well. I'm highly impressed with him. Partly his demeanor, he seems unflappable.
You feel like he's a bigger version of Jonathan Gibson, the way he plays?
Yeah, or maybe a more athletic version of Ian Baker.
Sure.
Yeah. And boy, think of the great guards the Aggies have had in the last few years, even from Ernst LaRoche, who was like a 38-year-old guy on the floor. He was so mature.
Chavez will try to complete the three-point play here as Johnny McCants, right arm Q, comes back in for the Aggies and spells Jamario Jones, though, instead of Wilkins. Good backdoor feed by the Red Hawks right there to lead the deuce for Chavez. Matej Chavez out of Slovenia.
Well, we haven't talked about the Aggies had a great player from Ljubljana, Slovenia, back in the late 90s, Boštjan Liban, who started for 3 years for the Aggies, played a little point guard, played a little off guard.
Lob for Johnny McCants. Oh, my!
Well, I didn't think that was a good pass, but McCants just went up and got it. Just really, the place has gone up for grabs here. Aggies up 13.
Dump off to Menzies, +1, and the hoop almost came down.
Well, they've got their own dunk. That quieted people down pretty quick.
And that's going to frustrate Chris Jans. The Aggies got beat on a back door twice, 2 straight possessions. Seattle U hanging in there, 10-point game. Still 12 minutes and change left. Harris, high arcing floater, slips off the rim, and it's picked up by Herlihy, the Vermont transfer. Seattle U can get it to single digits right here. He'll fake the handoff, and Buchanan fouls him. And this is going to be a shooting foul, so the Wisconsin grad transfer, Jordan Hill, will try to get the Red Hawks closer out of this timeout. Still a ball game in Las Cruces. The Aggies have led by as many as 15. They lead by 10 currently, 49-39. McCants in your living room in Las Cruces. Adam Young, along with former New Mexico State assistant Russ Bradbury, Jim Hayford's Red Hawks hanging in there. It was a 15-point Aggie lead at the half, and the Red Hawks have trimmed it to 10.
Well, remember, they were down 18-2.
Yeah.
And, I noticed every time out he grabs 1 or 2 players. He's completely controlled, Jim Hayford. He's not screaming and stomping, and he has some teaching points during every time out with 1 or 2 players. Before he joins the team, it's an interesting concept that he's got going, where he corners 1 or 2 guys and shows them something, then he gets the team together.
Jordan Hill out of Pasadena, California. He's been to 2 Final Fours, so he's been in some big games. Went to 2 Final Fours with Wisconsin, one of 3 grad transfers, and it's a 49-41 score. Aggies run a set, low post, Lofton. Wilkins to Harris. Let's see if Lofton can go in here. finally able to play without foul trouble. Defensive rebound for Cavas and Seattle U.
Well, it's an 8-point game here with 11 minutes to go.
Red Hawks trying to make it a 2-possession game on this possession. Hill, the skip, Cavas, a good look. Wide left. Long rebound tracked down by A.J. Harris. He's going all the way to the rim with the right hand, no good. McCants there again, and he can't tip it in.
Well, this is what now we have what we predicted. It would be a heck of a game. It's just a slow start by Seattle.
And Menzies travel. I don't think you want to give him the ball right there.
No, not on the run. Probably not on the run.
NM State has missed 8 of their previous 9 shots. Aggies have not shot it very well tonight. It hasn't been a clean offensive game, but when you play well defensively, it keeps you in the game. Hurley heads off. Giddens back in for Seattle U. The Aggies run a set right here on the wing. Lofton. They're trying to get Lofton free. Zach on a step back from the elbow. That's a tough shot. Rebound by Giddens. That's a tough shot, but it's a shot Zach Lofton makes often.
That's right. That's right. He's got to shoot that one.
Cavas from the elbow and the pull-up. Banks it in, and it is a 2-possession game. And the Aggies are only shooting 34% from the field now. It's a hold on the Red Hawks away from the ball. It's on Jordan Hill. His third. Team's 5th. The Aggies in a scoring drought of 2.5 minutes. I'll say this too, Coach. It seems like the Red Hawks are really defending the Aggies set plays well.
Yes, they're really well prepared, I think. Oh.
And Jones steps out on the baseline underneath. So it's a rare turnover on the Aggies. They have only committed 2 turnovers this entire game. Chua comes in for Wilkins. Certainly not panic mode, but some worry here for the Aggies, ahead by only 6. Lead has dwindled. It's a 7-0 run for the Red Hawks. Hill to Cavas. And the Red Hawks are within 3. Chris Trian said earlier this week, he said, I'm stubborn. Whenever our team starts to struggle, I like to see how the guys will handle it. I'll let them play through it. So no timeout here for the veteran coach, Chris Trian. Lofton, the offensive rebound. Chua grabs it. No reset in the shot clock. The Aggies have 4 to shoot. Endier 26 feet away. Big shot for City.
Well, very big shot. You know, Menzies, you know, he doesn't block all those shots, but he changes the way the Aggies attack the basket. They haven't been able to just go right at the basket the way they often do, and he's a force in there.
City clears ahead for Lofton. Lofton in transition. Bingo.
Well, did Lofton just blow on his pistols after shooting that one? Is that what he did there?
I think so.
Yeah.
Intercepted.
You can feel the momentum
4-on-1. Look out. Jamario for Lofton. He got it.
Now, Jamario Jones could have easily made that layup, but it just shows how willing the Aggies are to share the ball. And the place has gone bananas here. It's deafening. The crowd's on their feet. And here they come again.
Lofton with it. The trailer, Jamario. They go to Harris, and a blocking foul is called on Cavas. Chris Trians likes to see how his team handles adversity. No timeout. Let his team play through it. 8-0 run. was the response by this veteran bunch. Lead grows to 11 again. Back after this. Under 8 left here in half number 2. The Aggies back ahead by 11 after only being ahead by 3. So it was a 3-point Aggie lead. Now it's back to 11. 8-0 run for the Aggies. Starting to turn over. Seattle U leading to 4-1 opportunities, and the Aggies have been able to convert, as we see one right here.
Well, just the way the Aggies share the ball here is really impressive. And they're at their best when they share the ball. And maybe that was what was missing during the drought. Maybe they weren't sharing it as much.
A lot of options when you have a 4-1. The Aggies able to convert. Big day for Jamario Jones. He has 10 points, 11 rebounds, which is exactly at his average. He averages 10 points and 11 rebounds per game. His 11th double-double. He also has 1 triple-double this year. And Zach Lofton has a quiet 11. Foul trouble in the first half. Playing well here in half 2. (57-46). Aggies by 11. Step back Lofton. Flanks off the rim, tipped out of bounds, and it goes to the Red Hawks. Morgan Means brings Seattle U out of the backcourt. Guarded hip to hip by A.J. Harris. Giddens from the corner to the lane. Teardrop, pretty finish.
Well, Giddens, he's been quiet tonight, but maybe it would be great for Seattle if he could bust loose here with the game on the line.
57-48. New Mexico State ahead by 9 with 7:08 left here in half 2. Power dribble, Eli Chua.
I like Chua there. He went at the basket, pulled it back out, and then came back at it again.
Aggie lead back to 11. Under 7 left here in half 2. Way long for Morgan Means. Hesitation by Lofton. Good patience. Cleared away by Cavas. Lofton thought he was bumped. Cavas gets an angle. Plenty of separation for him.
Boy, he's dangerous.
And a quick timeout is called by Jim Hayford with 6:26 left here in the second half. It is 59-50. The Aggie lead down to 9 now. So this has become a game. Early, it appeared maybe it was going to be a blowout, and then the Aggies got the lead back to 15 at the half. But a lot of credit goes to the Red Hawks and how well they played here in half 2. The Red Hawks in half 2 are +6 in scoring margin.
No, that's right. It's a stubborn veteran team. You know, they got the 3 fifth-year seniors. They're not going to quit. They've got Cavas, who's the Slovenia's great basketball for many years. And it's a gritty team, and it's a experienced team, and they're not going to quit.
After the game, head to nmstatesports.com. It is your home for everything Aggie Athletics. nmstatesports.com for stats, stories, and more following tonight's game. A.J. Harris runs the point for the Aggies. Backdoor to Lofton.
Well, that's the mark of a great coach, too. They come out of the timeout, and they execute perfectly. And that was a smart play to get Lofton going. He struggled a little bit offensively tonight, and that kind of stuff will get him going.
And they've done that on numerous occasions tonight, executing out of a timeout. Harris slings it for Lofton, who bobbled, got his way to the rim, and finger rolls it home.
Well, and let's give credit. That was a scrappy play by Lofton, but Chris Jan's running that back door for him to get him going out of the timeout. Now he's got his confidence back. It won't shock me if Lofton really breaks out here in the last few minutes of the game.
NM State 63, Seattle U 50, 5:36 left here in half 2, and a foul is called on Chua. Matej Cavas will shoot 2. Cavas currently playing with 4 personals. big 6'8" sophomore guard who was the WAC Freshman of the Year a season ago. Sean Buchanan comes in for City Endier. (63-52). Final 5.5 here in half two. Pick and roll to Chua, and that slips in.
Nice pass by A.J. Harris on this pick and roll.
Aggie lead at 13. We approach 5 minutes left. Double dribble called on Chavez, had the ball caught on his hip. I don't know if his hand is wet or what happened right there, but Chavez can't believe it.
Oh yeah, just a double dribble.
Aggies going with Buchanan, Harris, McCant, Chua, and Lofton. Chris Drian said he really liked Buchanan and Harris playing together last Saturday. Stuffed in by Johnny McCant, +1.
Nice pass by Sean Buchanan there.
And this is a combination that Chris Drian had not been using. Two smaller players, Harris and Buchanan, on the floor at the same time. Buchanan's only 6 foot, Harris only 5'9". And those two guys, according to Chris Drian, really work well together, and that's a nice combination that he likes now.
That's right, and boy, can they can both really defend. I don't talk about A.J. Harris enough. He can really defend on the ball or off the ball, and just a nice pass by him there.
Johnny McCann's trying to get his own miss around 4 red jerseys, and it's pulled in by Menzies. Harris defending Means. That's a big ball screen that Harris got lost in, and Means drills the jumper. AJ was stuck.
Yep.
The 7'3" Aaron Menzies had him smothered on the far elbow.
When I hear Jim Hayford will get a media timeout in 40 seconds, but he must have saw something that he didn't like.
4:40 left. Aggie lead is 13. NM State at home on Saturday as well. Utah Valley in town. We'll have it for you on television. It's also the WAC game of the week. 4 p.m. is the tip on a Saturday. Utah Valley also 3-0 right now in WAC play. They are at UTRGV tonight, and UTRGV's been one of the bright surprises so far this year. Seattle U will head to them this weekend. UTRGV's improved. It seems like maybe Bakersfield's down a little bit, but Utah Valley has improved. UTRGV's improved, as I said, and Seattle U's improved as well.
Yeah, it's an exciting time to be in the WAC with some changes, but a bright future, it seems.
And then you throw in Grand Canyon. They're now eligible for the postseason, so Dan Marley will have his team in Vegas, and that's a new wrinkle. That's added competition for programs like New Mexico State.
That's right. And they get great fan support at Grand Canyon. But it's been a game of spurts for the Aggies and for Seattle here. They'd cut it to 4 or 5, but now it's back up to 13.
The Aggies have only committed 2 turnovers in the game. They are +11 in turnover margin. They've scored 19 points off the Red Hawks turnovers, and the Red Hawks only 3 points off the 2 Aggie turnovers in the game. Big possession right here as the Aggies try to put away Seattle U. The Aggies have made 4 straight shots from the field. Harris to Lofton. Zone defense for Seattle U. High post McCants. Inside outside Harris. Buchanan to the baseline for Chua. Around the horn to A.J. Harris. Chua with the one-handed offensive rebound.
He was being held on his left hand, but that didn't stop Eli Chua. He just went and got it with the other hand.
And that will put the Aggies in the bonus. So 1-1 upcoming for Chua, who's a redshirt junior now.
It's a pretty good rebound for Eli Chua, the one-handed rebound.
We talked earlier about Eli coming off the bench this year, and his production is down a little bit. Last year he was a 13-8 guy. This year he's averaging 9 and 5.5. But I think part of that too has been the resurgence of Johnny McCants. McCants has played so well that he has taken some of Chua's minutes, and Wilkins has started. Chua's come off the bench.
Yep.
And Jamario Jones has played so well. Sometimes the Aggies will go small with 4 guards. I don't think Eli Chua is a different player. I just think other guys are stepping up, and his production is down a little bit because of it.
I think that's right, and it is typical of big guys where it takes them a while to get into shape, and he's one of the Aggies' big guys.
Giddens gets Jones in the air, blocking a foul. It's on Buchanan. That was one of those 50-50 calls, and Buchanan does not get the benefits. Sean thought he had the charge. He was outside the restricted area. Aggies trying to put away Seattle U. Lead is at 15, under 4 left. NM State trying to move to 42-1 in their previous 43 conference home games. The Aggies with a lead of 13. They do count the basket, so it was an and-one opportunity for Seattle U before the timeout. 3:55 left here in the final half of play. Let's take a look at the WAC standings. Into action today. There you see 2 undefeated teams left. The Aggies and the Wolverines of Utah Valley. Seattle U in a good position along with Grand Canyon and a surging UTRGV Vaqueros team. The big shocker, I think, is Bakersfield 0-3, and Kareem Richardson's Kansas City Kangaroos also 0-3, and Tracy Dildy's Chicago State Cougars really struggling again.
Yeah, and it's still very, very early. There could be any number of things could happen here, as we see Rashad Gittens, who he's only had 3 baskets tonight. He's struggled a little bit, but he's played hard.
Giddens transfer in from Weber Estates. Only played in 6 games last year for Weber Estates. Missed the rest of the year with a foot injury. Played in 2 NCAA tournaments with them. So Jim Hayford's brought in some winners. You have Giddens, who played in 2 NCAA tournaments. Jordan Hill, the grad transfer from Wisconsin, has been to 2 Final Fours with the Badgers. Rainbow lob to Chua, who squares up on the 7-3 Menzies. He'll shoot it over him, and he'll connect.
They look very calm and collected there.
Eli Chua has 12 points. The Aggies with 4 in double figures, led by Lofton's 15. 12 of those in half 2, traveling again on the Red Hawks. What a big difference in turnovers. 14 on Seattle U, just 2 on NM State.
Well, just this swarming Aggie defense means a little off balance here. Oop. On the parquet floor.
Lou Henson court. Two-three zone here for the Red Hawks. Harris to Endier, who has to leap to catch. Jamario Jones always cutting. Harris passes up the 3 for the finger roll.
Wow, he went from 5'11" to about 6'4" on that one.
A.J. Harris with 6 points, 5 assists, no turnovers in the game tonight. He only has 1 turnover in the previous 5 games. He nearly intercepts. Menzies met at the rim by Chua, and it's a foul on Eli.
Well, what A.J. Harris is swarming defense, smart passer. Just what a plus he's been for the Aggies this year. Look at him float there.
Here's another Jordan Sperber stat. Coming into this game for A.J., he had only committed 1 turnover in the previous 209 possessions when he was on the floor. So 209 possessions on the floor for A.J. coming in. Only 1 turnover.
Wow.
And he has not committed a turnover tonight. I have no clue how many possessions, though, he's been on the floor for.
Yeah, well Jordan Sperber probably
he
knows.
May know
he
if
probably
he
knows off the
him,
top of his head.
Chris Giants has had some really, really good point guards during his coaching days, both as an assistant and as a head coach. And AJ's on that list. And Chris Jan said AJ has to be the extension from the coaching staff to the team on the floor. He has to be that leader, and now he turns it over.
We put the curse on him there.
We'll own up to that one. That's a team turnover on us.
Let's blame us for that one.
I had a few in my day, so I'll take fault on that one.
Well, Cavas a little bit frustrated. What a fine player he is. He just couldn't quite get on track tonight. He goes out with 20 points, but he's a little bit frustrated.
So Cavas fouls out. Aaron Nettles, number 23 in red, comes in for him. Freshman from Seattle. Has played very little tonight out of Seattle Prep. The Aggies have gone against a zone the majority of the night. Lofton swirls out the three. Coach, you're a professor now. How would you grade the Aggies' offense against the zone tonight?
Well,
you're a tough grader.
No, I think they've done remarkably well. I thought the zone was going to cause them all kinds of problems. They're long and they're quick and they're smart, Seattle. I thought it would cause them more problems than it has. So I'd give them the A- on how they solved the zone.
That's a good grade. Giddens double clutches and finishes off the window.
That's the Giddens we expected to see. He's a very good player, a very good athlete.
The Aggies have never trailed today. They've led by as many as 17. The lob to Chua in midair. Can't tip it in. Eli today's already attempted 6 free throws. He's made all 6.
Well, I'll bet you a burrito that by the end of the year, Eli Chu is averaging double figures. Right. I think most of the Aggies adapted very well to the coaching change, but maybe it took him a little bit longer. As we see a dejected Seattle bench, it'll be very different up in Seattle when the Aggies have to go up there.
You can tell, though, this Red Hawks team is much improved. They've already matched their win total from last year. They won 13 games last year, 13-7 coming into the game tonight. Jim Hayford's done a really, really good job with the Red Hawks this year. Giddens had it slip.
Well, that's the Aggie defense again.
The previous 4 games, the Aggies had held their opponents to 60 or less. 60 for the Red Hawks tonight. Subs come in for the Aggies. We're going to see Joe Garza right there, number 15 in white. Hometown favorite. Cortrick Miles comes in. Leston Gordon also in for the first time tonight. Gabe Hadley back in. He had some good moments in the first half. And Johnny McCants will stay in for the Aggies. If Garza hits a jumper, this place is going to go nuts. Here's Garza.
Well, it wouldn't shock me. He's done it before.
Gordon throws it away. Stolen by the freshman Nettles. Transition pull-up. Gordon the rebound, then he falls down and travels.
Wow, good hustle by Gordon, though.
He has the physique. You can tell Leston Gordon has a lot of potential with that body. Big guy, 6'8", 220, out of Trinidad and Tobago. And now Garza slips, and they call holding on Joe. And it's foul number 7 on NM State, so bonus free throws for the Red Hawks and Jordan Hill. Shooting into the student section. Nice student turnout tonight. First home game for the Aggies in 37 days. Jake Spurgeon coming in for Seattle U. He's going to check in for Hill if Hill makes the free throw. Spurgeon in for Hill. Spurgeon played a little bit last year. He's an Oregon native, hasn't played much this year. Really, Jim Hayford has just revamped this roster. A lot of new faces this year for Seattle U. And a foul is called on the Aggies and rolling the other way. This one is on Leston Gordon. There's a 2-second difference. Game clock, shot clock. Chris Jans is shocked. So Seattle U will have to shoot it here. The Aggies will improve to 16-3, 4-0 in conference. The Red Hawks will drop to 13-8, 2-2 in WAC play. Another good night for the Aggies, Coach.
Well, and everybody's on their feet. Well, pretty impressive Aggie victory here.
16-3, not too shabby. Receiving top 25 votes. A long way to go, but the Aggies continue to improve their resume. The Aggies have now won 42 of their previous 43 conference home games. They go to 7-1 at home this year. And they played the majority of the game, Coach, without Zach Lofton tonight.
That's right, and that may be the most impressive thing, is that the Aggies were able to overcome Zach Lofton being in foul trouble and still build up that impressive lead.
Lofton had a good second half. He only scored 3 points in 6 minutes in the first half. Played a lot, though, in half two. He scored a dozen in the second half, so he finishes with 15, but that's still well below his season average of 20.
When the Aggies were able to make their mark, without him. Well, I can tell Chris Jans is going to want my seat. You're going to prefer to talk to Chris Jans, and who wouldn't? He's one of the smartest, best young coaches in the country.
First-year Aggie head coach is making his way to us. We'll swap out headsets with Coach Bradburn. 75-62 is the final score tonight. Aggies will have Utah Valley on a Saturday. That's going to be an early start at 4 p.m. Coach Jan strapping on the headset. Coach, a nice win for your team tonight. Had to battle some adversity, I guess, in the first half with Lofton having some foul trouble, but you had other guys step up, including Gabe Hadley in that first half to build that 15-point halftime lead.
Yeah, we handled that fine. Unfortunately for Zach, he had been really practicing well. We expected him to have a big game and shoot around. I don't think he missed a shot all day. And then, unfortunately, he got set out with those 2 fouls. And obviously, by the score differential, we played much better in the first half. It was kind of an ugly, grinded out second half. And a lot of that was due to their style. They really try to take the air out of the ball and have measured possessions and played a lot of zone. And they haven't played much zone all year long.
Turnover difference, Coach, was huge. You won't see this often. Your team only turns it over. I think it was 3 officially at the very end. Seattle U had over 10 turnovers in this game. That was a big difference, wasn't it?
Big difference, and a lot of that was a byproduct of their style. And like I mentioned before, no pressing, not much man, packed in 2-3 zone. So all we had to do is be smart with the ball and not careless. And so we did a good job of it. But that's not normally the case when you play basketball. But again, it was more of their style of play in this particular evening more than anything else.
How about some thoughts, Coach, on Gabe Hadley? Because he hasn't played a ton this year. He's starting to play more lately. He needed to step up, and he did with a couple of big threes in the first half.
Yeah, he's been practicing better, and then we gave him that opportunity on the road at Chicago State, and he handled it really well and made some shots in that game, and we see it every day. I mean, he's an excellent shooter, and like most freshmen, he's figuring out, Division I basketball, especially from someone from another country, and it's not like he grew up here. A lot of these kids grew up here now and play, even though they're born in foreign soil, but Gabe has lived his life in Australia, so a lot of new for him, but he's an excellent shooter, and he's getting bigger and stronger and being able to defend better. So it's nice for us as a staff to have another option on the bench.
Coach, congrats. We'll talk to you Saturday.
Thanks, Adam.
Aggie head coach Chris Jans. The Aggies improved to 16-3 with the win here tonight. 75-62 is the final score. The Aggies never trailed. They led the entire way. Postgame comes your way next.